Conference USA basketball here tonight in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And a big one at the top of the East Division as the regular season winds down. The Monarchs of Old Dominion and the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Take a look at the standings here in the East. With 2 games left, these two teams will play back-to-backs tonight and tomorrow night here in Bowling Green. Western Kentucky 10-2 in the conference. Old Dominion 1 game back at 10-4 with a win tonight. The Hilltoppers can wrap up the East Division. Hi everybody, glad you're along with us. Brent Stover alongside Tim Doyle and our CBS Sports College Basketball Insider, John Rothstein. This obviously is a big one as we get into March and wind down the regular season, Tim, before next week's Conference USA tournament.
Well, Western Kentucky really has no margin or error, and right now with a 79 net, I think they have to get to the finals of the Conference USA Conference Tournament. As for Old Dominion, Jeff Jones, they got a style of play. They want to muddy it up. They want to be physical. I expect a low-scoring game tonight. John, you got some breaking news for us.
I do, Tim, and good news for the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky going to get back both Luke Frampton and Josh Anderson tonight. They've been out the last couple of games due to undisclosed reasons. Luke Frampton, one of the best shooters in Conference USA. A big boost for Rick Stansbury's club.
No doubt about it, John. Good point there to get those 2 guys back. Now, for Old Dominion, the leading scorer at 14.6 points per game, Tim, is Malik Curry.
The 6'1" senior can do a little bit of everything, and he is dynamic, especially in the open court. He leads this team in scoring. He's averaging nearly 4 assists a game, and you're going to see him end of the shot clock. It's going to be Malik Curry having the ball, making decisions for Old Dominion. Last out, they swept Middle Tennessee, held Middle Tennessee, 61 points, and then 60 points. Defense is their motto for ODU, and then on the flip side, there's 2 types of people in this world, Brent Stover. Those that like Charles Bassey and those that love Charles Bassey. I happen to love Charles Bassey. Why? Because he's a double-double machine. Leads college basketball in dunks, blocking shots, and now stepping out and burying threes, shooting over 32% from deep. This is a guy who's really expanded his offensive game, and when you talk about first-round picks in next year's NBA draft, Rick Stansbury has one of them.
No doubt about it. 18 points, 12 rebounds per game on the Wooden late season top 20 list, and the 6'11" junior from Nigeria has been phenomenal. 5th season for Rick Stansbury here at Western Kentucky with 99 wins at this spot, 392 overall. You talked about Curry, Tim. Green, Oliver, Reese, and Ezikpe for Old Dominion. And for the Hilltoppers, it's Rawls, Hollingsworth, McKnight, Carson Williams, and Charles Bassey. Jeff Jones, 8th-year head coach of the Monarchs, 167 and 92 is his record. Overall, 524 career wins for Jeff Jones. Set to do it here at EA Diddle Arena in Bowling Green. Final weekend of the regular season, back-to-back nights these 2 teams will play. Tomorrow night will be senior night for the Hilltoppers, but an opportunity to wrap up the East Division of Conference USA with a win tonight. With a win plus a North Texas loss tonight, they would wrap up the entire conference.
John, what's the realistic opportunity for Western Kentucky to get an at-large bid? Right now, a 79 net.
Yeah, Tim, I mean, I think we look at the net and we dissect the net, and I think the net has a lot of flaws when you look at it right now as a tool. Not that the RPI that preceded it didn't have flaws, but I look at the 3 things I think that are most important. Who did you play? Where'd you play them? Did you win? And Western Kentucky has a big chip to play with. They have a win at Alabama, who's going to be a top 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. I look at Western Kentucky right now as long as they don't collapse this weekend in the Conference USA tournament, they will be in the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens next week in the CUSA tournament.
Good start here as Tavion Hollingsworth takes it to the rim, gets a 3-point play. It's a 3-0 start, and Old Dominion has it for the first time.
Yeah, for Old Dominion, they want to make this game played in the 60s, and both these teams do not shoot the 3 well, Brent. Western Kentucky makes just over 6 a game. Old Dominion dead last in Conference USA.
A 3 at the other end, and Jordan Rawls with a big shot. It's a 6-0 start for Western Kentucky, the sophomore from Chattanooga, Tennessee, at 8 points per game, Jordan Rawls.
Yeah, when you talk to Rick Stansbury, it's simple. Make shots. When his team makes outside shots, they can compete with anybody. They went down to Houston and lost to the Cougars, but that game was 39-38 at half. They just couldn't make a shot in that game, only 4 of 17 from 3.
Tough shot in here off the window by Ncaa from Lawrenceville, Georgia. 6'8" junior, 11 points, 7 rebounds per game. He's got 29 blocks on the year in the opening points for the Monarchs.
Ncaa is going to have his hands full today trying to keep up with the All-American Charles Bassey. John, do you think he gets any love as far as All-American, first or second team?
You know, Tim, I did my All-American teams today. I did not have Charles Bassey on one of the top 3 teams. I think the one thing that's hurting Charles is, you know, obviously the level of competition that he's going against on a nightly basis, even though the numbers are staggering. And there's so many other quality big men this year. Evan Mobley, Hunter Dickinson, Drew Timme, obviously Luka Garza, and you can't forget about people like Kofi Coburn either.
Here's Hollingsworth swinging around for Davion McKnight. 6'2" start for the Hilltoppers. Rawls going to feed the post. Here's Bassey on a face-up. Jump shot is down. And when you add that to his game, John, that's a nice piece.
Yeah, there's only one thing you can do at that point, Brent. Pray.
8-2 start. Bassey with a bucket coming off a 22-15 performance in a win Monday afternoon over FIU. 15-foot jumper at the other end. Left it short, rebound to Carson Williams. Here comes Davion McKnight. Bassey on the baseline draws the double. The runner in the lane is too strong, and here comes OTU down by 6. Lefty 3, just right of the circle, and he drills it. Old Dominion with a 3, and it's 8-5. Good to see Malik Curry get going. In his last 7 games, just 1 of 13 from downtown, but starts 1 of 1 tonight. Hollingsworth. Such a good mid-range game for him. And now Rawls. Rawls turn it over at the end of the shot clock. ODU on the move. And that'll be an offensive foul on Malik Curry. Tim, what do you see early on?
Well, I think when Western Kentucky plays inside out, it's just going to make open looks become more open when you play through Bassey. I think every time down, he needs to have a touch. And you saw the mid-range jumper, Brent. He did not have that in his bag his freshman year.
Oh, Bassey up top for the dunk.
You know, I've said this before, guys, all season long. I think if you took Charles Bassey out of Conference USA and put him on any of the 10 teams in the Big 12, he's the best big man in that conference. I would take Charles Bassey ahead of Derek Culver.
Amazing. That was the first thing I was going to push back on was Culver and the kind of fantastic year that he's had.
Yeah, and I was ready for that pushback. I've worked with you enough.
Too much. 4 minutes in. Jump shot won't fall. Bassey clears it for Western Kentucky.
You know what's amazing is he talked to John and I after one of the games where he had a monster performance, and he compared his game to Len Bias. I mean, that is as old school as it gets. Obviously, the former Maryland Terrapin, never materialized at the professional level, lost his life too young. But watch the athleticism here. Going up high, the catch, the finish. We've seen the mid-range jump shot. Brent, we've seen it all so far in the start for Western Kentucky.
I love it. So it's fun to watch Bassey play. You know, for me, Tim, Hollingsworth as well is a fun guy to watch. You know, there's a lot of guys that are good off the bounce and then get to the rim. He's good off the bounce, and then he's able to have not just, good play at the rim, but his mid-range game is outstanding as well, Tim.
No, and he's done an outstanding job throughout his career getting to the free throw line. Right now, #1 all-time in Western Kentucky in minutes played. He's had some monster efforts, and honestly, he's been wildly consistent throughout his career. He had a monster game last year, 43 points against Louisiana Tech. John, is it just amazing when you start for 4 years, it feels like you're in college for like 100 years?
No, there's no doubt about it, Tim. And, you know, we're seeing more and more that the teams this year that have been the most successful in college basketball are the teams that are the most experienced. So we've seen so much, I think, made about obviously who added what player in the offseason, whether it was a transfer, whether it was picking up a key freshman. The most important thing in college basketball today is player retention. You're seeing that with teams this season, obviously, like Baylor and Gonzaga. And you also have to attribute what Michigan has. Juwan Howard has a lot of big pieces back, headlined by Eli Brooks, Franz Wagner, and obviously Isaiah Livers.
So in terms of what's at stake, and we talked about this right off the top that Tim asked you, John, Western Kentucky an opportunity to clinch a 1 seed in the East here and the best record in Conference USA. Overall, big pictures for the big dance. It is a 1-bid league.
Yeah.
They did schedule Houston late in the season. It was last week. Actually had a 1-point lead early in the second half. Ended up losing by double digits. But for Western Kentucky, and in our visit with Rick Stansbury this week, you can sense the disappointment where he continues to feel like this conference. John.
Yeah, I mean, Conference USA is a difficult league to navigate. Obviously, we have seen teams have success in the NCAA tournament out of this league. Remember, guys, it was just 6 years ago that Jared Hess and UAB won a game against Fred Hoiberg and Iowa State. Marshall beat Wichita State a couple years ago in the NCAA tournament. And I can tell you this, if Western Kentucky is in the bracket, this is the double-digit seed that nobody wants to see on Selection Sunday, because you have a guy again in Charles Bassey that could be on any one of the teams in the Big 12 and be the best big man in the conference.
McKnight with the score at the other end. ODU ball down 7, 5 minutes in from Bowling Green.
Yeah, what's interesting, I'm already targeting a conference once March Madness rolls around, and that is the Big East. Colin Gillespie injured. You got some turmoil right now in Omaha. And I've watched that conference up and down this year. Like, if a Big East team gets matched up with Western Kentucky in the first round, oh, I love the Hilltoppers.
Be incredible. Foul underneath, and free throws coming up here as that one picked up by A.J. Oliver, the second, a redshirt junior from Birmingham.
Carson Williams, one of those guys, obviously, who you know, just regardless of what game he played, regardless of what level he played at, whether it was high school, college, summer league, you know the guy's going to be a producer.
First one rattles in for Williams from Owenton, Kentucky. 7.6 points, 5 rebounds a game. 38% from downtown, 64% at the stripe.
Yeah, last year, he really had a massive spike in production with no Charles Bassey, averaged over 14 points a game. And then early on, it was trying to fit like a round peg in a square hole, as they say. Like, he just didn't mesh with Bassey. They've played better together, but sometimes they're actually in each other's way.
ODU able to knock down a jumper there, and it's 13-7. For Old Dominion, they obviously feel like they could make a run. A bunch of teams next week in Frisco and an opportunity. Someone's getting that automatic bid, and it's certainly not a foregone conclusion for Western Kentucky, though they've been the bell cow this season. They've won 8 straight inside the conference. And we discussed it, John. They really played well against West Virginia, lost the game. It wins over Memphis. A huge win, obviously, over Alabama as well.
Well, and another thing, Brent, that we need to obviously remind everybody is that, you know, the Missouri Valley Conference is having a very good year, but the team that was picked to win the Missouri Valley Conference was Northern Iowa. And Northern Iowa had a guy who was a dark horse candidate to be an All-American in A.J. Green. Western Kentucky beat Northern Iowa with A.J. Green in the lineup in a game where the Panthers made 20 3-point shots. So when you take all this into account, the road win at Alabama, the neutral court win over Memphis, losing to West Virginia by 6, this is a team that, again, looks the part of being an NCAA tournament team.
Bassey knocks it in 15-7. And Tim, you love Louisiana Tech in this conference.
Eric Conkle came to Bowling Green, and he gave Western Kentucky all he could handle, not once, but twice. Beat the Hilltoppers in Bowling Green, and I just think he's got a team that's really balanced, extremely physical, and for Rick Stansbury, it seems to be a reoccurring theme. Outstanding regular season, cannot get over that hump in the conference tournament. John, I know that you have a lot of money in the bank, okay? I'm going to put you on the spot here, okay? Western Kentucky gets to Conference USA tournament final, loses a close game. Are they in?
Yes.
That was easy.
Yeah.
We have to trade Venmos via text, all right, after the game.
I don't know how to use Venmo.
Come on. John, it's 2021 for crying out loud.
I know, but I just found out what Netflix was in 2019.
Well, we want to remind you that you can turn off the comments at the bottom of the screen by swiping right on your mobile device. Well, I'll say this for John. The one silver lining of what's been a very difficult year is that, especially last March, he was sort of forced to go back and watch all the movies that he's seen 20 times but hadn't seen for the last 20 years. He finally watched Sopranos as Western Kentucky gets a bucket inside.
That's right.
Finally, 2 decades after the show, Tim, John finally watched Sopranos for the first time. 2
episodes a night, and what a 2 hours it was to look forward to every night. There were some brownies and other baked goods in the mix, too.
Tough shot underneath, and rounding out, rebound by West Kentucky's Josh Anderson. You mentioned back in there, undisclosed reasons he and Luke Frampton have not been in the lineup in recent games. Anderson in there, senior from Baton Rouge, and again, he'll be one of the seniors recognized tomorrow night on senior night in the second matchup between these two. As see Malik Curry going strong but unable to finish.
Josh Anderson, remember, another player, top 100 prospect out of high school, had high major interest, LSU, NC State, opted to go to Western Kentucky. A lot of very highly touted players on this team. One with the ball right now, Tavion Hollingsworth, was a huge part of this team's run in the postseason NIT a couple of years ago.
Hollingsworth from Lexington, Kentucky, coming off a 20-7 game. Scoop shot down for the Hilltoppers. It's 19-8. There's Davion McKnight.
McKnight's going to be an outstanding player in this conference as a freshman. He's only averaging 5.5 points a game, but it's hard to get touches with Hollingsworth and Bassey. But 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He does a little bit of everything. And when those guys depart, which we expect them to depart after the season, this is really going to become his team.
Xavier Green and a kicked ball. It'll stay with ODU.
Yeah, see, once in a while, you got to know a little English. Watch this here. The sweet spin. That would be H if they had a Brent Stover out there and we were playing horse, okay? You throw a little spin on it from the other side, that would be H.
Tim, is this your first game with John Rothstein this year?
You know, it's actually like the 11th, but I'm not counting.
A 3 is good for ODU.
You know, John and I have
the opportunity to work with you two. It's a dream come true. First opportunity for the 3 of us to call a game together ever.
I'm glad somebody's excited about it.
And a big game at the top of the East Division here, Tim. Josh Anderson rattles out, cleared that time by Xavier Green from Williamsburg, Virginia.
The one thing John really pointed out is when Bassey checks out of the game, and this is exactly what ODU did. They got the ball down low. You gotta target when Bassey gets out of the game. Get aggressive, driving to the rim, pounding the ball down low. We come back, we're gonna have free throws for the Monarchs.
Zikpe will be at the line. 11:58 first half, 19-11 Western Kentucky. Brett Stover, Tim Doyle, our CBS Sports college basketball insider John Rothstein. Let's go last 4 in, first 4 out. And this is what we have, according to Jerry Paul, the most recent. And there you go, Tim. What do you think?
I'm happy. I'm happy about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. VCU in, Syracuse out. All these teams still have multiple opportunities. I'll say this. Seton Hall gets in, John. Nobody wants to see them. Just ask Creighton. Just ask Villanova. They gave those 2 teams excellent games this year. You think at the end of the day the Pirates get in?
You know, it's going to depend on what happens tomorrow against St. John's and also in the Big East Tournament. But I'll tell you this much, guys. I am looking right now on the last 4 in. VCU, Drake, and St. Louis will all play Saturday on CBS Sports Network. If any of those 3 lose in their semifinal game of their conference tournament, it is going to be a very long 8 days until Selection Sunday. But I've got some other insight and information to share, which I think is important. Because of these conference tournaments now being scheduled scheduled a week ahead of Selection Sunday. I have learned through multiple sources in the past week that there is a strong chance that some of these non-power conference teams who could be on the bubble could look to add non-conference games this week if they are knocked out of their respective conference tournaments before Selection Sunday.
I love that, don't you, Tim?
More college basketball, I love it. But it's almost like you're scrambling to find a prom date. You know, I didn't plan on this being a therapy session, but that did happen to me. And you're just like, hey, you want to go? You want to dance? And, like, you just need a game, and you're trying to build your resume. I mean, it's pretty amazing that this is the climate that we're in. And it's not just Conference USA teams, it's everywhere. I mean, you see UTEP playing random games. You got North Carolina playing random games. You know, this is the world of college basketball. And the tournament is going to be an amazing opportunity for teams to play in historic arenas like Indiana and West Lafayette. Obviously, everyone's going to be in the bubble, which is the state of Indiana, an outstanding basketball state. But, yeah, I think just hold tight. I've had the seatbelt on all year. I'm basically the Ted Stryker gif from Airplane. That's what I've watched the whole college basketball season. Just hang on.
So you just compared scheduling during this season of college basketball and trying to find a prom date. John's been calling it wilder than a goat rodeo all season long.
That one stuck with you, huh, Brent?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, John,
Have you ever been to a goat rodeo, John?
No, I didn't know they existed until I Googled it when all the scheduling thing was happening. Truth be told.
Brent, is your dad watching this game?
No question about it. Never misses a Tim Doyle telecast.
Nice cut, Anderson. Good help.
Anderson, you bet. Changed the shot underneath. ODU on the move down 6. To the rim. Whistle and a foul. And they're going to count the bucket.
Jeff Jones, obviously, you know, guys who's obviously always excelling at getting opportunities to do things special. You can see, obviously, the attack and the drive, but Jeff Jones, anytime you can take multiple programs to the NCAA tournament, you know you're doing something right. Jeff Jones obviously did a great job, led Virginia to a 1 seed in the 1995 NCAA tournament, and in 2009 at American had a lead against Villanova in Philadelphia in the round of 64. That was obviously preceding the Cats' run to their first Final Four under Jay Wright, but just a great coach and has done it at multiple places. And more defense creating offense, Brent.
Outstanding job. So first it was Xavier Green and now Jalen Hunter. Sophomore from Manchester, Connecticut. And it's a 19-17 game here at the 11-10 mark.
Yeah, you see that run that coincided with Charles Bassey getting a little bit of a break. He's back out there now, and he's going to be heading to the free throw line. Great job by ODU. Recognizing Bassey checks out of the game. They got to the free throw line. Xavier Green was the one that went wire to wire there for the end one. Wasn't able to convert the free throw, but excellent job there by Hunter. He was great last out against Middle Tennessee. 17 points in 27 minutes. Go along with 6 assists and 4 rebounds. The 5'11 sophomore from Connecticut. You know, when I watch Bassey shoot, I love his form. Of course, he was going to miss that on cue. But he's got really nice follow-through. Keeps it nice and high. Rotation is good. That means there's potential there, and that's why he's shooting 32% from 3.
Well, you see the skill level, the mechanics, they're all obviously aligned for Charles Bassey, and we've seen him recalibrate his face-up game a lot this year, making him more of a multi-dimensional threat. Certainly, without question, somebody that can play anywhere in college basketball.
Yeah, John, I thought he was more robotic early on as a freshman. Now, last year had the leg injury, missed obviously the rest of the season, but his agility and mobility have improved tenfold, and that's going to be important at the next level because robots can't guard in the NBA, and that's what everyone's worried about with Luka Garza at the next level, and he is going to have a massive issue. Bassey, his athleticism is supremely advanced in his freshman year to now.
A 3 for Josh Anderson, the senior, and it's 23-19.
And I think, guys, as we continue to forecast for the NCAA tournament, which is what we're looking at, even though it's just 9 days until Selection Sunday, again, not that anybody's counting, I think that, you know, one thing we need to look at is you look at the personnel right now on the floor for Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey, you know, is an all-conference player in any conference. Luke Frampton is a high major shooter. Tavion Hollingsworth and Josh Anderson are high major caliber perimeter players at certain programs. They are not going to be intimidated looking anybody in the eye in this game that they're potentially going to have in the round of 64.
Look at Anderson here out on the break. You know, he's always in attack mode. I mean, he jumped from like the free throw line there and is able to get the foul. I was just still worried about looking people in the eye. Brent, who have you ever looked in the eye that made you nervous? Ncaa, former Kansas State legend?
Absolutely, because he was a track guy at Kansas State like I was. He also played baseball. He lettered in 3 sports. And that's right. When I met Ncaa for the first time, it was at another network that I worked for, and I was nervous, meaning he's a legend. Not just in Kansas State circles, but obviously, Purdue and college basketball team.
For me, it was probably his one-time rival, Bob Knight. But Bob Knight, I think, he warms up. He keeps you on your toes pretty quickly.
No question.
Yeah, I was with Coach Knight once at the Carnegie Deli with the late, great Howard Garfinkel. And Seton Hall had won a game against USC. There was just a lot of silence at the table. I was like, yeah, I can't believe Seton Hall won that game with 7 players on scholarship. And Coach Knight just kind of looked at me and said, you are aware they only play with 5.
That's when you just want to be somewhere else in that moment. 24-19, Western Kentucky.
Matter of fact, I think the first time I met Tim Doyle was when I was with Howard Garfinkel at the Brooklyn Old Timers dinner, and I proceeded to rattle off some of Tim's accomplishments from his decorated career at St. John's and Northwestern.
You know, I didn't have a cell phone at the time. That's an amazing thing. That was 2003, and I did not get my
why on the air.
I did not get my first cell phone until fall of that year when I went to Northwestern after I transferred. So I had to actually write John's phone number down on a napkin.
That's amazing. People used to do that.
And 2 days later, I had to change it.
Luke Frampton knocks it in. Good to see Frampton back in there. He's
made 100 threes, Brent. 2 years, a couple years ago at Davidson, 100 threes in a season.
Amazing. He's at 42% from outside this year. Spin and a score for Old Dominion. They're hanging around here.
Yep.
You know, going back to the Valley, and John, this was something you were on the front end of about an hour or an hour and a half ago, but Drake, obviously it's disappointing. Northern Iowa was preseason favorite in the Missouri Valley and unable, after winning the opening round last night, to play in the quarterfinals because of a COVID issue, we assume. And so Drake, an opportunity to get through to the semifinals without playing here today.
Now you stay fresh, but you're also going through a situation, if you're Darren DeVries, that you're going to play a team who may be a little bit more tired, but you've had obviously an opportunity now where you didn't play before your opponent. So are you going to be fresher, or are you going to be a team that's a little rusty? Another thing, as we continue to look big picture, Brent, which we'll do all day tomorrow on CBS Sports Network, is I think we have to look at this. Because Drake didn't have an opportunity to play and get picked off tonight, it is a situation where Drake could have gotten knocked off the bubble. It didn't get knocked off the bubble. So bubble teams everywhere, regardless of who wins tonight between Valpo and Missouri State, will be rooting against Drake tomorrow. I think if you look at the scenario right now, if Drake doesn't at least make the finals, they're going to be sweating until Selection Sunday. And even if obviously they lose in the finals, it's going to be a tough out. Also, I want to point out, too, that Darren DeVries told me a couple of days ago that Tank Hemphill, Shanquan Hemphill, their leading scorer and rebounder, still not ready to play this season, this weekend in Arch Madness. So this team, again, lost its starting point guard and Roman Penn, the Siena transfer, also not going to have Hemphill this weekend.
Bassey underneath scores, and it's a 6-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Thoughts on the Valley, too?
Well, obviously, Loyola Chicago, they have guys that were there on the team 3 years ago. You know, Lucas Williamson, second team all Missouri Valley Conference. And then you got the stash of the Valley, Cameron Krutwig, who in my eyes is the best player. He's so balanced, but it comes back to a point with those two guys, experience. The one common theme that we've seen from, I don't care if you're in the Conference USA all the way up to Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina, experience. If you got experienced guys, you've got a major advantage because we've never seen stuff like this before. And that's why Kentucky has struggled so poorly this year, is just you got young guys not used to this, and not having that pick-me-up, not seeing your family, and older guys have kind of been through the wars before. I give massive edge to experience more so this year, Brent, than any other year, but I believe Loyola is a Final Four team this year.
All right, time to play blind tournament resume with a break in the action here and a 6-point lead. John, you see the 4 resumes there.
All right, we go left to right.
Yep, this is our poll on Facebook.
Tennessee is 1.
Okay.
Duke is 2.
Okay.
Utah State is 3.
Wow.
And 4, I'm going to say, is Western Kentucky.
Do we want to give Tim a crack at it, or are we going to reveal these? We're going to leave them on the poll. So I want to make sure I have it right. Tennessee, then Duke. Tennessee, Duke, then Utah State?
Yeah.
Then Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I would put Tennessee in, having those 5 quad 1 wins for sure.
Just 1.
I would take Tennessee and Western right now in, despite the 79 net, because they have the Alabama win. And I think Utah State, for me, would be obviously ahead of Duke.
Well, what's interesting to me, and Tim, I want you to weigh in. I'll start with John on this. And it's the fact that a team like Utah State has been phenomenal for most of the season, but some losses here down the stretch. And so it's so easy to come at this from a wide view and say, wow, what's wrong with Utah State? What do you mean, what's wrong with Utah? You're playing conference games against teams that know you inside and out. It doesn't mean that you're just going to roll the ball out there, even though you've had a great season, and win every game on your schedule.
Absolutely, and let's go in right now and talk about how important the overall body of work is and how every game matters. We argue with this with our buddy Wally Zerbiak all the time, who sometimes, let's just say, doesn't want to hear what the facts are in terms of the selection committee. VCU, played Utah State early in the season in the Battle for Atlantis tournament, which was moved to the Dakotas, obviously to the Sioux Falls Pentagon in South Dakota. VCU won that game on a neutral court. VCU is one of the last 4 in now, and Utah State's on the other side of the bubble. Had Utah State won that game, we might be seeing a different tune right now for the Aggies. But to me, Craig Smith's team is the team to watch at the Mountain West tournament. They've won it the last couple of years. He's obviously done a great job at Utah State. I believe they're 71-22 with him as the head coach.
Amazing. Bassey gets free and throws it down. 8-point lead, and Bassey putting up huge numbers again tonight.
You know what he does, Brent, is he carves out space. He does a great job of, before the pass comes, like, if we can get a replay of that, I would love that, because he gets such outstanding position. He makes it easy for his teammate to get him the basketball.
Old Dominion with the answer. 11 points. He's 4 of 4 from the field. 8 rebounds already for Charles Bassey.
This is the first possession I've seen of ODU going zone. This is where you'd want to get a Luke Frampton out there, because he's such a great zone buster.
Oh, man. Here's Hollingsworth. Williams posting his man up. And a travel on the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, watch how Bassey carves out this space in the lane. Watch, he's like, all right, I'm going to get right to spot. Bam. He gets right to his spot. I mean, it's almost a better pass by McKnight. And being left-handed, he's able to whip it in there. Great hands. You know, John, I've had a really hard time coming up with a comparison for Bassey.
Yeah, that's why you can't force it, Tim. You know, sometimes obviously it's easy, it's seamless. It's like I watch a St. John's game and I see Julian Champagny, I think Wilson Chandler. Sometimes it just comes to you. Like, you know, you can't force these things, though. I hear what you're saying. He's a tough comparison. We'll get one overtime, though. Hopefully we see him play for a lot of games here over the next month, because this is a team, again, you know, it's interesting. They're not just, I think, a team that's a double-digit seed. They're more like a 10 or an 11.
At 10 or 11, you don't want as Rawls drills the corner 3. He's having a nice first half, and Western Kentucky back up by 7.
Again, they won a game at Alabama. Just think about what that says.
Yeah, and I think Alabama is going to be playing for a 1 or at least a Final Four opportunity. And if you go to their home court and win, this year more than any other year, Brent, eyeball tests should matter. I know metrics and nets and humada SOSs and stuff, but like, should be best teams in the tournament. And for Western Kentucky, it's hard to schedule.
No doubt.
Great ball movement. Great offense right there.
Tavian Hollingsworth from Jordan Rawls, who had just drilled his own three.
And if you are a defensive-minded team like like Old Dominion here, you cannot have this. Transition opportunity. Rawls back to Williams, back to Rawls. Hollingsworth for a three. Western Kentucky already with 36 points in 15 minutes. The Topper's a team you don't want to see in your bracket on Selection Sunday.
Tim, that's that hockey assist we talk about. A little tic-tac-toe passing right there.
Yeah, and more importantly, you got to make the shot. 4 threes early for Western Kentucky. They only make 6 threes a game. I'll tell you this right now, any game that they go out and make 9 or 10 threes, I really find it because of their style of play, their physicality, the way they get to the free throw line. Maybe with the regard, maybe the top tier teams, but they can beat everybody else in college basketball. I guess the top tier teams they can beat if you win at Alabama. So what we would have missed with Loyola, because if Loyola Chicago didn't win the Missouri Valley 3 years ago, they didn't win their conference tournament, we would have never heard of Sister Jean. I would have never been blessed by her. Like, my whole life would have been worse if Loyola didn't make and win that conference tournament that year, because they would not have gotten in, and that's pretty poor. They had won at Florida. They were a really good squad, but the numbers would not have matched up.
Well, the RPI, if I'm not mistaken, was around 34, which, to people around the Valley, they felt like that was good enough. 3 rattles out here from straight away. Long rebound out to Old Dominion. Fresh possession, down 10.
Who'd Loyola Chicago beat in the Elite 8 that year?
Ouch.
Tim, why would he do that?
Do you remember what they were? Were they 10 or 11 that year?
Loyola Chicago was an 11. Beat Miami, beat Tennessee, beat Nevada, beat Kansas State.
Kansas State had beaten Kentucky in the Sweet 16. One of the more memorable games ever for Kansas State alone.
And you didn't even say anything when they won. You kind of just walked with like a fist bump.
Yeah. I was trying to act like, yeah, we've been there. We expected to beat Kentucky.
But you have seen now in the last 11 years, your alma mater twice, once with Frank Martin, once with Bruce Weber, come to the door of the Final Four and be told no. No.
It was Butler the last time, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Xavier?
No, it was Brad Stevens and Butler in overtime.
And they had beaten Xavier in the Sweet 16.
Yes. Great game. Jordan Crawford making those threes. Clemente.
Denny Clemente, one of the greats. 36-28 here, 4:19 in this first half.
Bad pass.
Deflected away. Here comes ODU. A.J. Oliver. Now numbers for the Monarchs. Out of control that time.
Saw it a mile away.
John could be calling this, Tim, and officiating.
I mean, he lowers the shoulder. You can see good position here by Frampton. Clearly an offensive foul. Western Kentucky in the right spots at the right time. And now let's see what they can get, obviously, as they're trying to show what they can do offensively on a pace right now for 72 with 4 minutes to play in the first half. Good zone offense principles here. You can see nobody yet on the high post. Short corner, Frampton. Not even close.
ODU with the ball down 8. 3:50 in the half. Face up for Zikpe. Now he wheels in the lane and flips it out for a deep 3.
Great hustle.
3 players on the deck. Frampton down there and picked up by Carson Williams. Here comes Western Kentucky. Rawls splitting defenders, leaves it off baseline. Hollingsworth draws the contact and the foul on Xavier Green. Now, it's McKnight rather on the drive. So Bassey, Tim, so far tonight, he's already in double figures and already nearing a double-double after 22 and 15 last time out.
Yeah, 11 points, 8 rebounds, and this game just started. Every time I watch him, I want to take a page from Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Because he does a little bit of everything. I love when he blocks shots. He keeps them in bounds. He's got outstanding hands. And please, chime in on Facebook. Do you have a comparison for Charles Bassey? I thought it was like a Clint Capella, pick and roll, throw it up at the rim. But I think his offense is actually more more polished than Clint Capella. He can step out. We've seen mid-range jumpers. John, we've seen him bang down threes. So please chime in on Facebook. You guys drive this conversation. Charles Bassey, do you have a good comparison?
It's a good question. Let's get people involved. Good job, Tim. Way to drum it up. 36-28 here. Tim, I want to talk about, you know, we've discussed Bassey and obviously the fact that he's got a lot of help around him with Hollingsworth, another senior, and Carson Williams, and then McKnight has had a really solid freshman season as well. Jordan Rawls, good shooter. But let's talk ODU for a minute here, because they came in 10-4 in the conference, a game back of Western Kentucky in the East Division. Obviously, ODU not as flashy, but they've had a really nice season.
Well, they're the type of team, too, that you want to avoid in a conference tournament setting, because they can drag you into the mud, make it a very difficult game to navigate. Obviously, a very low possession team. And you see, obviously, the graphic right here about what's at stake. You know, the top two seeds in each division are going to receive a bye to the quarterfinals. With a sweep, they could be the #1 seed in the East. They go 1-1 there at 2. A very good chance that these two teams could hook up again before the end of the season. And, you know, think about the dynamic, too, guys. You know, they say it's very difficult, obviously, to beat a good team 3 times. You could be looking at a scenario, if you're Western Kentucky, you could have to play Old Dominion twice here this weekend and then go to the Conference USA tournament, have to beat them for a 3rd time within the span of a week.
No, and that's something Tim Stansbury talks with us on the call this week, is no matter who the opponent is, and we just saw it Monday. They destroyed FIU on Sunday and then really struggled, trailed for much of that game actually on Monday afternoon before pulling away in the end over FIU.
Yeah, life on the back-to-back this year. You know, John, we've never seen it before, but how many random splits did we see? We saw Army lose by like 1 million to Colgate early on in the Patriot League, and the next game they went out and knocked off Colgate. Like all year long, winning back-to-back has been tough.
Very tough.
ODU has won 3 straight coming into tonight. They've won 5 of the last 6. Western Kentucky has won 8 straight in the conference, 4 straight conference sweeps, which is no small feat. Only loss in there was to Houston last week, and again, led by 1 early in the second half against a team that they needed to schedule. They got the game, just weren't able to convert it into a victory that would have been clearly huge for their resume. Pull-up in transition is rattling out, crashing the boards out of bounds to the Hilltoppers.
Big stretch right here in the next 2:42. Western Kentucky can push this to 13 or so with a couple of good possessions, but conversely, Old Dominion has an opportunity to really trim this thing a little bit by the half. You've got to finish the half strong. Obviously, if you're on the road, you've also got to start the second half strong if you're on the road. But Brent, you know, you can't walk before you can crawl.
Hunter leads Old Dominion with 6. Zikpe has 4. Gotten balanced scoring. They trail by 9, 2:26.5. Hollingsworth in rhythm. Left it short. Rebound out of bounds. It'll stay at this end.
You know, Bassey kept it alive, just being aggressive and, you know, forcing almost 2 bodies on him a lot. Carson Williams get his hand in there, keeps this possession alive. Watch out, Bassey. You got one guy, watch, he's fighting for it, keeps that ball alive, keeps the possession alive. No stat there, but keeps the ball for his squad.
Pass never got there, deflected away out to Williams, and now Rawls. They are making the extra passes and converting underneath. That is pretty offense for the Hilltoppers.
Now, guys, let's for a second pretend this is Back to the Future and go into a time machine. Who other than the top 8 seeds do you think would want to see Western Kentucky? And remember, they beat one of the top 8 seeds in Alabama. But other than, again, you know, the 4 teams from the Big Ten, other than West Virginia, other than obviously Gonzaga, and you could throw Houston in there as well, which team would Western Kentucky be overmatched against?
Overmatched, I have a hard time finding one. I did watch the West Virginia game earlier in the year. Now, West Virginia does have bigs. They had 2 at the time. Now they're down to 1 in Culver. And their physicality bothered Western Kentucky. And the MO with the Hilltoppers is, let's pack it in. Let's force them to make jumpers. What have they done in this game today? Well, they've made enough threes. They've made 4 in the first half. They just have to make enough to keep the defense honest. If they can make 8, 9 threes, they're going to be a really tough out.
That's why Frampton could be the key to this team in the NCAA tournament. If they can get a 3.5 out of Frampton, it would go a long, long way for the Hilltoppers.
Well, that's why in this game, you know, Anderson banged down a 3. Rawls has made 2 threes. Now, you say, Tim, that's only 3 threes. Yeah, but when you only make 6 a game, and that's why ODU goes zone, everyone packs it in. When they lost to Houston, they went 4 of 17 from 3. It's just literally every loss this year, it's been the same exact theme.
By the way, that foul on A.J. Oliver, his 3rd, so he leaves the lineup. Mekhi Long back in. So 3 for Oliver. He'll be done for the half. 90 seconds, 41-28. And you mentioned this would be a pivotal final couple of minutes, Tim. John, actually. And right now, ODU is down by 13.
And you see right here a different type of defense by Rick Stansbury. A little bit of a matchup zone. We're going to force Old Dominion try and get some shots by going over the top. There's one, no good. Great defense. Switch your defense right now. Tweak things a little bit. Give them a different look. This is something McCronin did a lot at Cincinnati, which he learned from Rick Pitino and Ralph Willard. It's something obviously that Rick Stansbury does too. Changing defenses sometimes just to throw your opponent off a little bit.
Carson Williams straight away. Rawls off the high screen. Final 48 seconds of the half. 13-point Hilltopper advantage.
Terrible possession. Awful.
Blocks by Mekhi Long. Numbers 2-on-1. ODU up top for the dunk.
Turnovers for touchdowns. That's what Tom Izzo calls it. And Rick Stansbury wants to talk. You do so well for a number of possessions in a row, and then why would you leave your feet to make that decision? Abominable.
Tim, Joe Reese able to pay it off for ODU at the other end.
Yeah, give ODU credit. They showed a little flash here. Throw it up to the big fella, the 6'8" junior from St. Louis. He's able to finish. I'm always nervous to throw alley-oops, especially on the road, because, man, it could go so wrong and it could kill all your momentum. But John pointed out it's a big stretch here. With that bucket, it's an opportunity for them to get 2 for 1. So you get a stop here, and you can potentially cut it to 9 or 8, and you have not played your best half. Western Kentucky has shot over 50% from the field. They've banged down a bunch of threes, and you're still within striking range. So any sort of momentum right now, but they've been at their best when they've gotten some offense from their defense.
ODU had missed 5 straight from the field. They've had a couple of droughts in this first half, but down 11 here. They've shot 41%. Western Kentucky shooting 52%, including 4 of 10 from downtown. And 11 of 16 at the stripe. We'll visit with Jeff Jones, head coach of the Monarchs, coming up at halftime. 23 seconds to play in the half. Hilltoppers ball up by 11. Hollingsworth feeds Williams. A face up and drive. Draws the double. 10 seconds in the half. Hollingsworth with 7. Deep 3 at the end of the shot clock.
2 bad possessions in a row.
And now coming up limping is Joe Reese, the junior you mentioned, Tim, from St. Louis. 5.7 on the clock. Reese is hobbled. A final chance here for ODU.
And this is another opportunity again. Can you find something right now in your special situation package? This is what coaches work on all the time. Jay Wright went to a Final Four in 2009 with a special situation play to beat Pitt 78-76 in Boston in the Elite Eight.
So Reese to the bench. Final 5 seconds. ODU with 2 seconds across the timeline. At the buzzer, shot short. And that's how the half ends, with Western Kentucky up by 11. Quick thought on the first half, Tim.
Western Kentucky banged down 4 threes. When they make 8, 9 threes a game, they're going to be really tough to beat. As for Old Dominion, they need to get more offense from their defense.
John, how about you? What's your well, actually, we've got Jeff Jones with us. Coach, thank you for joining us. Down 11 at the break. What are you seeing from your team so far?
We just have to play a lot better. We've had some looks down here. You got to be able to put the ball in the basket when you're shooting it from 12 feet and you're wide open. you know, we just have to be more efficient offensively. We got to compete better at the defensive end. We've got all these fouls because we're reaching and slapping, and we're not moving our feet and putting our bodies on people. Williams and Bassey are men in there, and if you try to reach and slap, all that's going to happen is you're going to get fouls, and they're going to get to the free throw line. So, you know, we just have to become a lot more physical. I know that sounds weird, you know, to say when we got so much foul trouble, but if we were more physical and doing more of a job of moving our feet, putting bodies in the lane, I think that would eliminate some of the actual fouls, because the way we're doing it right now is as they're going by us, we're just slapping. So, you know, more efficient at the offensive end, and we just got to compete and be a lot tougher physically at the defensive end.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck second half.
All right, thank you.
OTU head coach Jeff Jones, down by 11, mentioned the foul trouble. 3 for Oliver, 3 for Green as well. Coming up after the break, it's Mike O'Donnell sitting down to Western Kentucky's Carson Williams as we are at the half here in Bowling Green on Facebook. .41-30 at halftime. Rick Stansbury, head coach of the Hilltoppers, joins us now. Rick, your thoughts as you head into the second half. What do you need to see from your team here with an 11-point lead?
Well, we got to keep doing what we're doing. I thought we were pretty good defensively. We kept those guards out of the lane for the most part, and got stops and got out in transition. And we got to keep scoring in transition. And you know, they played a lot more zone, and they're used to playing. And we can't let that zone slow us up. And we got to keep being effective trying to attack that zone.
Charles Bassey, he's always the topic. How about his game so far?
Well, you know, he's always really good defensively. Offensively, I'm not sure they've slowed him down a little bit in that zone, but he's going to affect the game so many different ways when he's not scoring. So they've got to guard him. Whether we're getting it to him or not, he draws a lot of attention.
Coach, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, look at Curry and Bassey. Tim, these are the two guys we talked about at the Open. Bassey has 11 and 9, and for Curry, he's only got 3 points on a 1 of 3.
Well, Curry's got to be better here in the second half. Came into the game averaging nearly 15 points a game, averaging nearly 4 assists. He's had a tough time finding any offensive rhythm. Really, the only spark that Old Dominion showed in that first half is when Bassey checked out of the game. That's when they went on a 9-0 run, got back in the game, and then Rick Stansbury went, hey, number 23, can you check back into the game? Bassey checks back in, and that's when they started opening up their lead again. So for Old Dominion, they're going to have to make some shots here. I'm talking about long-range bombs, 5 or 6 in the second half to get back in this game.
So 41-30 game, John. Thoughts as we head into the second half in a league that, as we mentioned, you know, you're talking about the opportunity where it's probably only one bid, so you can't look too far ahead. So you have to measure success a little bit differently, because ODU, there's a good chance they won't end up in the big dance. But when we talked to Jeff Jones this week, it doesn't minimize the fact they've had a really nice season.
No doubt about it, Brent. And I think if you look at the second half right now, you're trying to build momentum if you're Old Dominion, and you've got to be better defensively. Like Jeff Jones told us at halftime, you know, you've got to be in a situation where you can kind of neutralize what Western Kentucky's doing offensively. They are not going to be in a position where they can outscore the Hilltoppers.
A whistle and a foul underneath. Early in the second half, first 40 seconds, and Western Kentucky leading by 11. Bassey has 11 points and had 10 rebounds. Another double-double for him. That's 15 on the season. 8 for Hollingsworth, 7 for McKnight. For ODU, Green has 7, but he also has 3 fouls. Oliver playing with 3 fouls as well.
They have been a really good team when Xavier Green has been on the floor. That is a good player in Conference USA. 6'6", obviously a redshirt senior at Williamsburg Christian Academy. He's a difference maker for them.
Western Kentucky ball shot rattles out for Williams. And, still looking for our first points of this second half.
Hard to get in the flow here in the second half. Bassey grabbing the rebound in his office. You can see starting to get the break going.
Other end, there it is. Carson Williams pays it off, and it's a 13-point Hilltopper advantage from Rawls.
Rawls, another player, again, for this level, highly recruited. Could have went to some high major schools, wound up picking Western Kentucky. Has had pockets of brilliance.
Here's
Needs
Malik
to be more consistent.
and Curry underneath. Tough shot. Fall away the lefty. Too strong. Bounced around. Collected by ODU. And limping down the floor after scoring that one is Reese. First bucket of the second half of the Monarchs. 2 minutes in, 11-point game, Tim.
Hey, you feel like ODU has not played their best, but sort of kind of hanging around. You know, bang down a couple threes, make this a really competitive game.
Bassey, volleyball underneath. Collected by Zikpe. Monarchs down 11, open three. Joe Reese, too strong. Tapped around, controlled by Jordan Rawls. Williams never got to Bassey. Zikpe ends up with it. 3-on-2 ODU. Malik Curry scores.
A great job there by Curry using his body. Lefties do that. James Harden's famous for it. Just like giving you a little bit of hip. Maybe this gets him going a little bit, and we got a single-digit game.
Curry with 5. 43-34. Rawls on a 3, spins out. Cleared by the Monarchs.
And you can feel the momentum starting to swing in this game.
To the rim again. And Curry doing work to start this second half for the Monarchs.
That's a bad sign for Western Kentucky. A great sign for Jeff Jones and his squad, showing some fight on the road in conference. This USA East Division means something to the Monarchs.
It's a 6-0 ODU run after falling down by 13, but Bassey with the answer in his office off the glass. He's got 13.
And that's the guy you got to feed if you're Western Kentucky. And as you can see, there's an adjustment every time he's in the game. Attacking the rim becomes the priority for Western Kentucky.
Lead back to 9. Kai Long in the game. Pull up from 17. Curry is dealing right now for ODU.
Yeah, he's got that swagger, he's got that strut right now, and it's amazing. One bucket can get a guy like that going. You can tell he's in the zone. If I'm Jeff Jones, I'm giving him the ball, giving him a high ball screen. Feed the horse.
Davion McKnight, and now Rawls. Pass and draw.
The idea was there. Deflection.
Deflected. Yeah, ODU gotten hands in the passing lane in the opening 4.5 minutes of this second half. Defense creating offense, and it's a 7-point game after they fell behind by 13. Bassey has 13 and 10, his 15th double-double of the season. And the three-point shooting has been effective as well. Jordan Rawls leading the way there, Tim.
Yeah, he made 2 in the first half. Western Kentucky made 4 as a team. Now, you say 4 threes, that a lot of threes. It is for them. They only average 6 a game. And when they're able to make threes, what does that do? Well, that makes life easier for Hollingsworth, whose strength is really getting to the free throw line. And Bassey operating down low. Rick Stansbury's got a simple motto with his squad. Make shots, and when they do, they can be really tough. As we take a look at my all-American team, Cade Cunningham, Corey Kispert, Ayo DeSumo. Actually, these 4 guys are locks, and Garza's a lock. Now, Brent, am I playing to the audience? Of course I am. Throw Charles Bassey out there. Yes, you know, first-team All-American. Why not, Brent?
Jared Butler still plays basketball, right? Just want to make sure. They are going to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
You knew there'd be pushback, Tim.
You know, here's the deal. That 5th spot, John, would you agree? Garza, DeSumo, Cunningham, Kispert, locks.
Yeah, I think you got to have Jared Butler on there, Tim, but that's just my take.
No, that's fine. You want to know something? I don't know if they built a fancy graphic for you. If they did, we could just swap out Bassey and put in Butler.
You must have missed last night's broadcast.
Here's the deal. I just think, and you said this, and I believe you're telling the truth, that if he was in the Big 12, he'd be the best big man. So we're going to hold it against him that he plays in Conference USA. I guess we are. As we take a look at our Facebook poll, somebody asked this great question. I can't remember who during the broadcast. Brent?
Tim, you. And it was, who does Charles Bassey remind you most? And John was very quick to point it out, and he's a savvy veteran in this department, that this is not something you can force. But yes. Tim, you asked it to our Facebook fans out there. Gasol, 21%. Horford, McDyson, Len Bias. There's the 30%. You see Len Bias.
A little bit before my time.
Yeah, I watched the highlights of him. Really, it was the kind of the end of the Celtics' legacy there, because he was drafted right at the end of Bird and McHale's career. It would have meant a lot to those guys if he was out there. Passed away a few days after draft night. And Michael Jordan said he used to look up to Len Bias, who I look up to right now. Malik Curry's in the zone.
Drills a 3 from straight away, so he's showing a little bit of everything in his arsenal in the opening 5 minutes of this second half, and it's a 4-point game. It was at 13 a minute into this second half. Step out 3, not this time for Bassey, and cleared by Long. Curry feeling it. Step back. Got it. Back-to-back threes, and he is on fire to start this second half, John.
Old Dominion again right back in this basketball game, and you can see they are distorting the fluidity that Western Kentucky had offensively in the second half. The defense has picked up.
45-44, Tim, and Curry single-handedly doing it for the Monarchs right now.
Yeah, he is in that zone where offensive foul on Bassey, so ODU with a chance to take the lead here. And it's been a simple recipe. Hey, Jeff Jones, I'll DM you right now, okay? Give that guy the ball, number 3, get out of his way. He's done it all with drives, step backs, and then burying the 3. He is entering the zone.
It's a 14-2 Old Dominion run. Curry with 15 on 6 of 9, 3 for 3 from downtown. And now an open look from the wing. Jalen Hunter buries it.
We've got a situation developing, guys. We've been talking about, obviously, that large picture. This is a game the Hilltoppers cannot afford to lose. They are officially right now in a situation at home.
It's a 17-2 run. Out of bounds, it'll stay at this end. And Old Dominion, which moments ago was down 43-30, now the 2-point edge, Tim.
Oh, check out Trice here from behind. And that play just ignites a team that right now is on fire. You see the run over the last 4+ minutes. Defensively, guys are active as well.
Bassey, tough shot, able to collect and score and tie the game at 47.
And this comes more down to Western Kentucky. They need to stop. And if I was Rick Stansbury, I would go double this ball screen. Get the ball out of Curry's hands.
Curry has scored 12 straight. And then they got the 3 from Jalen Hunter. And a foul here on the drive, as Long was spotting up. 47-47. And again, not a game that Western Kentucky can afford to lose, but they've got these guys back-to-back nights. And right now, Jeff Jones' team riding the hot hand of Curry. Curry turns the corner to the rim. Couldn't convert that time. Good defense. Rebound to Bassey. This one deflected into the arms of Carson Williams. Corner 3 won't fall. Rebound Hilltoppers. And here comes ODU. Fans wanted a call, didn't get it, and a turnover at this end into the hands of Hollingsworth. Williams calling for it. McKnight looking, instead Hollingsworth. And a foul underneath. You saw that contact coming there, Tim, with Carson Williams begging for the basketball in the lane.
Oh, you could see it starting to get a little bit chippy out there. Rick Stansbury's fired up. Jeff Jones has got to be fired up with the way his team has responded. ODU could have laid down in this game. Instead, they've matched Western Kentucky's physicality here in the second half. And we got a good one on a Friday night in Bowling Green.
Deadlocked at 47, 7 minutes into this second half. The first of back-to-back games to close out the regular season between these top 2 teams in the East Division of Conference USA, as Josh Anderson checks back in for Rick Stansbury's guys. Drive and kick for Hollingsworth. Bassey, fall away from 15, rattles out. Tip try, no. Rebound Monarchs. Zikpep. Xavier Green playing with 3 fouls. Malik Curry has been on fire. Little stop and start to the rim. Curry scores. He's got 17, and it's 49-47 visitors.
Well, he's got the right last name, and he is cooking right now. Malik Curry, no relation, maybe a distant cousin, but he is cooking with the basketball.
We're seeing enough right now to see that Old Dominion could not just be a pest tonight, but will be a pest in the Conference USA tournament. Remember, the title game will be a week from tomorrow on CBS Sports Network.
And the dunk for Bassey. Once again, his team falls behind, and Bassey with the answer. He's got 17.
That's the type of dunk to make your hair stand up. Brent, that happened for you the first time in 8 years.
7 of 9 from the field for Bassey. Curry has got 17 of his own on 7 of 11. The two stars that we talked about in the open on fire right now. And a corner 3 for the Monarchs, and they go back in front.
Western Kentucky, they need to stop. I mean, this is just like impossible to get the ball out of ODU's hands and kind of thwart that momentum.
Bassey has the last 6 for WKU. Shot won't fall for McKnight. 1 and done. ODU the ball on a 3-point edge. Trailed by as many as 13 early in the second half. Shot blocked inside. Corralled by the Monarchs. Blocked again. Bassey defensively twice that time.
Well, you make a good play on defense. Reward the big fella on offense.
Tough runner, short. Rebound is Ncaa. And ahead, deflected and stolen by Hollingsworth. And Hollingsworth draws the bump in the lane. As we approach the midpoint of this second half, 52-49. Tim Curry now with 17 on 7 of 12, 3 of 3 from downtown.
Yeah, I talked about him playing with that confidence, playing with that swag, and this is what got him going. Remember, he threw his hip into him, got the bucket, and then the tough finish on Bassey. And then when you make some layups, well, now all of a sudden you get in your bag, you're hitting pull-up jump shots, you're banging down threes. He really ignited his squad, and to be honest, this is what you need to do. And we've seen Western Kentucky turn to Bassey time and time again to stop the bleeding. Malik Curry, can we call him maybe Baby Chef Curry? He's been cooking here in the second half. 14 second half points, Brent.
Well, John alluded to it. Next week, CBS Sports Network is the home of the Conference USA tournament once again. The semifinals starting next Friday, March 12th at noon Eastern, and the championship game on Saturday, March 13th at 9, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Always a fun, exciting, and a wild tournament. This year, John, should be no different.
Should be no different, Brent. And again, doing this for as long as I've done it right now, well into my second decade, approaching a third one before you know it soon enough. Coaches have always told me that the most pressure in coaching that they have felt is being a heavy favorite in a mid-major conference tournament. A little bit different dynamic for Western Kentucky, but the pressure now that we are going to see over the next week for guys who are going to be #1 seeds who've had great regular seasons, unlike really anything else we've seen in the sport.
Yeah, and I feel like lower seeds, meaning right, a 2 seed versus an 8 or 9. Brent, how would you say it? Is that the lower seed or is that the higher seed? I'm never really sure with that. If you're a 2 seed, are you a high seed or a low seed?
Right now, our Facebook poll question is, should the NCAA tournament expand beyond the 68 teams? Tim, I'll give you the first crack. We want to poll all of our fans out there, but Tim, what's your thought?
Give me the question one more time, Stover.
Should the NCAA tournament expand beyond 68 teams?
More games, yes. I mean, can we do anything to expand the tournament? I mean, who doesn't love the tournament? I mean, before I became a student athlete, I was faking illnesses the first couple of days of the tournament so I could be home watching the games. Freddie Lyson playing at St. John's, Fran Fraschilla running up the sidelines. Like, I love those teams. I remember those days. Like, more college basketball games. I just don't know what Rawls' team would do. John, would you sleep? Do you go to bed at all in March?
Not really. You just got to close your eyes here for a couple of minutes while you're standing and then just move on to the next day, to be honest with you, Tim. It's all a blur. And you know what's crazy? It's already March 6th. It's huge. Crazy just how fast it goes. We're already a week in.
Tomorrow is the 6th. Yes, say, John, but what do you think? Beyond 68 teams, or do you think it's just right now?
I think it should go back to 64, to be honest with you. I think they would really tighten up the bubble at 64. Do not go past 68.
I'll tell you, a guy like Rick Stansbury doesn't want to hear that. You know, we're discussing with him. It's interesting that only about 20% of Division I teams make the NCAA tournament.
I know.
Whereas in college football, and it's a completely different situation, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70% of teams make the postseason in terms of a bowl game.
Right.
We
watched the bowl game together this year.
Absolutely. It's apples and oranges to an extent, but there is an argument to be made that to have a higher percentage in college basketball to be able to make the field for the big teams.
I'm with you. I do think that obviously we have the situation at hand with the first 4, but I think, you know, we would really tighten up the field if we went back to 64. Not going to happen, though.
Midpoint second half. 52-51. Pivotal game in Conference USA on the final weekend of the regular season. Tough shot long inside. No. And Mekhi Long is at the line. So Green, Oliver, and Ezikpe all have 3 fouls right now for ODU, and that is a big storyline.
A nice job by ODU. That was the first possession that Rick Stansbury played 1-3-1 zone. And right now with no Charles Bassey, right, he's throwing the kitchen sink. We've seen some matchup. We've seen 1-3-1. And all Rick Stansbury is trying to do right now is tick, 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 tick. Try to get to the under 8 timeout so he can get Bassey back into the game.
Anderson just committed his third for WKU. Long converts. 53-51, 10:04 to play. Four points, 5 boards for Long off the bench tonight. He's been pivotal with a couple of the starters in foul trouble for the Monarchs. Josh Anderson for the Hilltoppers. Kenny Cooper. Tough shot in the lane, won't go. Out of bounds. ODU possession.
And you see the shot with no Bassey out there. Wasn't necessarily a great possession. I get Rick Stansbury. You can't play your big man for 40 minutes, but you get a bucket here if you're ODU. Don't be surprised to see Bassey check in this game.
53-51, 9:26 remaining. Mekhi Long. A.J. Oliver on the perimeter. Here's Oliver. Long feeding the post, knocked away by Williams.
You see Western Kentucky started in 1-3-1 zone, and then they went man-to-man. 5 seconds on the clock here. You got to think this is going to be Curry time.
Tim mentioned shot clock at 5. It's into Oliver. Oliver with 3. Through the lane, stripped away by Williams. He's been effective here tonight defensively.
The defense of Old Dominion has been stalwart here in the second half.
Frampton draws the double, stripped out. He was the last to touch it. On cue jump.
And now Western Kentucky's got 8:55 left, and this is not obviously a conference tournament game, but if Western Kentucky can't come back and win this game, it's going to make the at-large situation a little bit more dicey.
Feels like a conference tournament game, John.
And that's coming, Brent. Heard before that this is March.
Tomorrow on CBS Sports Network, we will have a pair of Missouri Valley Conference semifinals and a pair of A-10 semifinals in prime time.
Yeah, and you and I will be in studio for that all day long, so kind of like college roommates here, tied at the hip.
Amazing, out of bounds, off of his knee and back the other way.
Western Kentucky, guys, 41 first half points. So far, 10 here in the second half, and there he is. Rick Stansbury can wait no longer. I expect 23 and White to touch the ball here, Brent.
I would think. He's got 17 points, 13 rebounds.
Effortless, too. An effortless 17 and 13. He rolls out of bed, he gets 10 and 10.
7 of 9 from the field. 8.5 to play. Jordan Rawls, kick out, Anderson. Frampton in rhythm off the curl, rattles out. Tipped out of bounds, stays at this end with Western Kentucky.
second rebound we've seen where Bassey's not going to get a stat, but kept the ball alive and kept the possession alive. This is where, with no true point guard out there right now, you got to get Bassey a touch. I get it. Luke Frampton's a good shooter, but you have an All-American on your team. Get 23 the ball.
Frampton. Bassey. Quick touch, release, air ball. ODU the ball, up by 2. Pivotal next 8 minutes. In the grand scheme of things here, shot is down. Malik Curry coming through big time. He's got 19. The lead is 4.
A couple minutes away from danger time here if you're Western Kentucky.
I think you got to start sending a double towards Curry. He is in absolutely lockstep right now.
Here's Rawls, shot clock at 14. Open look in rhythm. Kenny Cooper spins off. 2 players in the deck. Frampton fighting for it, scrambling. Pulled away by ODU. They've got the ball leading by 4. Malik Curry with a 19. Got shut off this time and out of control that time. Turnover. Rawls to the rim for WKU. And 1.
Huge momentum shift right there.
Watch Rawls, excellent job of taking the contact and then kind of sneaking it through the defender's arms. Western Kentucky was struggling making shots. They've struggled burying threes here. 0 second half threes. And guys, this has been their kind of Achilles heel all season long. When they lost to Houston, they had only made 4 threes. So far here in the second half, 0 made threes. I think Rick Stansbury in the huddle right now, John, he has to say Malik Curry is in the zone. We must get the ball out of his hands. I'm from the school where you never let the other team's best player beat you. John, you make someone else beat you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Western Kentucky start to double team Malik Curry in an effort to get the ball out of his hands. You know, it's something that Arkansas does all the time with Eric Musselman, you know, get the ball out of the best player's hands. But, you know, you have to be impressed by the resiliency, the fight, and the integrity of this Old Dominion team to continue to claw back in the game. Looked like it was going to be a blowout in the first half, not so much in the second 20 minutes.
All right, Tim, let's go big picture once again. We showed you your All-Americans a short time ago. Of course, John had a big pushback. Are you expecting a pushback here from your Final Four teams, Tim?
To answer your question, of course I'm expecting a pushback from John Rothstein. I mean, here's the deal. I go to bed with him with a tweet, and then I wake up with him. And I'm happy, and I'm humble, and I'm hungry, and all those things in the morning. Loyola Chicago, they have experience. Cam Krutwig makes other guys better on the court. Gonzaga needs no introduction. Baylor bounced back, which I was happy to see. And for Alabama, Herb Jones, John Petty, banging down a lot of threes, fun to watch, experience. There is a theme among my Final Four teams, John, guys that have been around the block.
Yeah, you live in Chicago, right? I just want to make sure.
You trying to? Yes, I do live in Chicago. You say I'm playing to my? You say I'm playing to my audience of Loyola Chicago?
He's been known to from time
Exactly.
to time.
In January it was Drake. Now it's Loyola Chicago. Whichever way the compass points there, Tim.
Here's the deal, all right? Loyola Chicago is like a 10-minute drive from Northwestern, and there was an outstanding little joint there called Hamilton's. And their dance floor, Brent, it might have been 70 degrees when you walked in, but that dance floor was 100 degrees, and I have so many fine memories there.
John, your thoughts?
Was that when you were in college, or was that last week?
55-54 out of the timeout. 7:08 to play. ODU ball. Curry, he's got 19. Bassey looking to shut him down. Xavier Green, Curry. Ezikpe wants it. Baseline drive and a score from Mekhi Long.
And a tremendous seal that time by Old Dominion to get Bassey away from the front of the rim. It created an angle for them to get to the rim. They get a layup.
You know, the great point, John, because Ezikpe posting up kind of thwarted Bassey.
Bassey at the line for 2.
Hey, you called it out, Brent. Ezikpe posting up. Now all of a sudden Bassey has to pay attention to him. And that way on the drive, I thought Bassey was going to come from behind and block this shot. And there's Bassey. I mean, he catches it. There's just nothing but dark shirts around. He's able to get to the free throw line. They just ask him to do a lot, don't they, John?
I mean, I think they have to, Tim. It's a one-man gang right now. When you look at, Charles Bassey, I mean, he makes everything go. When you look at, obviously, what happens with Western Kentucky, he creates shots for Luke Frampton. He creates driving lanes for their other guys. He gets Carson Williams dump down opportunities. He is a real, real good player.
Bassey knocks it in. 57-56 with 6:37 left.
Old Dominion.
USA East Division, Tim.
Old Dominion 6 of 10 from 3. That's efficient.
Open look, corner, long, short. So Mekhi Long misfires on a 3. Josh Anderson for the Hilltoppers. Frampton tried to fire it in. A foul from behind on Ncaa. Here are our poll results on expanding the field of 68. 44% agree with Tim and say yes, but John, 56% agree with you and say no.
Yeah, I think that it's fine with where it is right now. In fact, like I said, I think we go back to 64.
Which wasn't really part of it. I guess next time we'll have to add that third option. I had never thought about that, John, but the bubble has gotten a little bit soft. Obviously, it's going to be one of those years.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like sometimes, there's a couple of teams every year limping into the NCAA tournament. It would be a lot harder to get in if you had 64.
Jordan Rawls with a big 3 at the 6-minute mark. 59-57 Hilltoppers.
Yeah, that was Western Kentucky's first made 3 and a huge time for Rawls.
Jordan Rawls has 12. 3 of 6 on 3s. Curry looking to answer. Curry against McKnight. Left it short. Bassey was the last to touch it.
Well, they've done a better job of double teaming and really causing more pressure with Malik Curry last couple of possessions for Rick Stansbury. That's still the guy, if I'm Jeff Jones, to have the ball in his hands.
Out of the inbound, a 3 and a big one at this end for A.J. Oliver.
Feels like a championship game in a conference tournament right now.
It really does. 60-59, Tim.
And back and forth it goes. If I'm Western Kentucky, I'm playing through Bassey.
Bassey calling for Ncaa, defends. A drive instead by Anderson, and he draws the foul.
Yeah, out of bounds play. This is just unacceptable. Baseline out of bounds. Rawls gets caught on the screen. Oliver, who was only 2 of 11 from 3. That's right, he took 11 threes against Middle Tennessee last out. Buries a big one. Back and forth we go. Old Dominion, Brent, 1-point lead.
At 60-59 with 5:14 to play. And I don't think we can overstate how big of a deal this is, John. The fact that Western Kentucky cannot take a loss here. And ODU's a team that has won 3 straight, 5 of 6. They're thinking, why not us for the auto bid in the conference tournament next week?
No question, Brent. We've seen, obviously, a defense for Old Dominion that's really just been relentless. I mean, Western Kentucky, remember, had 41 points at the half, 18 now in the second half for the Hilltopper, so a complete 180.
Take a look at the top 16 seeds. Big picture here for March Madness. We are 9 days away from Selection Sunday. This, according to Jerry Palm, Tim, with obviously Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois, and Michigan, the 1 seeds. What's your takeaway here?
Well, Illinois, I mean, was out of this world with no Ayo Dosunmu in Ann Arbor, knocking off, really embarrassing Michigan in that spot. They bounced back in a big way. Ohio State, John, trending in the wrong direction. Should they be on upset alert?
Well, I think they've lost 3 in a row, Tim, but I also think we got to look at the Big Ten angle. I know you're a Big Ten alum. I think you see a scenario now here, too, where the Iowa, Ohio State, Illinois tier, if one of those teams can win the Big Ten tournament, that team's going to be the 4th #1 seed in the dance because of the big wins you're going to pick up along the way.
My biggest takeaway there, John, is Arkansas. Eric Musselman, in a very short time, has got this as one of the preeminent programs in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas looking like definitely a second weekend team and maybe further, Brent. And again, Eric Musselman just in year 2 after coming from that successful run at Nevada.
Just one thing is we got to keep the shirt on. You know what I mean? I mean, the shirt off from Musselman. I mean, I get it. The guy looks amazing. We're all going through a pandemic right now. All right, I've put on weight. I don't want to name other names. Brent Stover has put on weight, and we got the coach of Arkansas with the shirt off. How do you feel about that, Brent?
John?
I'm just curious. I'm a food guy, Tim. What do you feel like you've been eating that's put on the weight?
It's just the lack of exercise. I'm not seeing people. I eat because I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I eat. It's a vicious cycle right now.
I know, but what's the menu?
You know, I'm actually going really clean this month. I'm going to go no bread, no beer, no carbs.
Wow.
Jordan Rawls, or rather, Anderson knocks it down. 60-60, 5:14 to play. My pregame meal was a cheeseburger and fries. John ate a salad with salmon on it. So that'll tell you.
I got no choice. Look at me.
Pull up, Curry, no. Good rebound there by McKnight, the freshman. Tied at 60 with 5 left. Second half, Old Dominion has outscored Western Kentucky 30-19. McKnight flips it corner. Ooh. Hollingsworth maybe got away with an extra step. McKnight to the rim, and he gets fouled by Austin Trice, the Kansas State transfer.
Can't get away from Kansas State, can you?
A lot of transfers, unfortunately. Well, it's interesting, and you mentioned it earlier, and the reason I bring it up is Loyola's got Loyola in the Final Four. He's got them in the Final Four. They were in the Final Four just 3 years ago. Beat Kansas State to get there. Things can change very quickly. The next year, Kansas State wins the Big 12 regular season along with Texas Tech.
They lost to UC Irvine.
Exactly, but then now here we are 2 years later, and you know, undergoing a very challenging season. But regardless of what level you're at, it is so challenging. And that goes back to what Porter Mosier has been able to do at Loyola, is the consistency over the last several years for them.
Yeah, you know, it goes back to, Brent, you can even go to the highest level. You look at, obviously, a program like Duke. Everybody wants to talk about the 5 national championships. Aside from the year where Coach K was unable to coach physically, with him on the sidelines, this would be the first year that they missed the tournament, I believe, since the 82-83 campaign. That's amazing.
For Izzo, it hasn't happened since, I believe, 97.
Yes.
Open 3, good look, shot, air ball that time from Hollingsworth. Out of bounds, ODU ball at the under 4 with Western Kentucky leading by 2. The 2 stars, Tim, that you talked about off the bat, Curry and Bassey. Curry was quiet in the first half, but he has been massive here in the second half.
Well, he really got it going, and he really got an outstanding rhythm. He got to the hole a few times, made a couple of layups, some tough drives, and then when you do that, now you start, you know, pull back jump shots, step backs, and then Bassey's just doing what he does. This is every game. You know, with the exception of Houston, where he only had 9 points and 7 rebounds, he has been a dominating force. He absolutely racked up huge numbers in that win over Alabama. That's the one that's still resonating on their resume, but Curry came into the game averaging 14 and a half. He's up to 19, and he has completely single-handedly brought his squad back into the game. Buckle in, Western Kentucky fans. If the tournament started today, Jerry Palm would have you in. But right now, you are sweating like Ted Stryker in Airplane. I mean, you are holding on with 3:57 left and a 2-point lead to dear life, Brent.
And look at those numbers for Bassey, the one-man show, Brent. 19 and 14, 70% from the field.
15 double-doubles on the season. He has had 9 20-point games this year and 4 15 or more rebound games. Pretty impressive. He's about to get his 5th in terms of those 15 or more rebound games. So the East Division here, it's a 1-game lead for Western Kentucky. These two will play again tomorrow night to wrap up the regular season. Western Kentucky can win the East Division, obviously, with a win tonight. If they win the game and North Texas loses their game to UAB, then it's their first outright conference title for Western Kentucky for the first time since winning the Sun Belt in 2009.
It's a long time ago, Brent. 12 years. 12 a long time ago. Where were you in 2009?
Had yet to meet John Rothstein, I can tell you that.
I know where I was in 2009. Brent actually lived in a building down the street from me that had a rooftop pool, and I used to act like I lived in the building just so I could use the pool. Brent?
That's right, old Eugenie Terrace. Used to run the streets of the Windy City a little bit. But now I've upgraded to living in New York City with John Rothstein being my guy.
You're missed here, Brent. Few people could ride a bike back and forth to the local places.
62-60, 3:51 to play. ODU ball, turning the corner, and missing is Xavier Green. Stick back is good, and a big play there underneath by number 23, Austin Trice.
A great play out of a timeout. You got point-blank look, and they're able to follow. We're knotted up in Bowling Green.
Trice has got 4, tied at 62, 3:29 left. Bassey. Rawls thought about it, shot clock at 5. McKnight got blocked in the fall away. More good defense. Austin Trice has provided the energy in the last couple of minutes.
And every possession so critical right now for both basketball teams, as you can see. Everything's so critical down the stretch.
3 to play, tied at 62. Fall away. Green rattles out. Foul, and the rebound is Long went in there.
That's going to be shots down the other end because Old Dominion in the bonus. So early right now, Western Kentucky getting an opportunity to get the lead back. Western Kentucky, you can see right now, only 4 team fouls.
Yeah, they're going to get Trice right here, kind of dislodging Bassey. I don't know about that one.
Trice has been strong here down the stretch. So free throws for
Bassey's
Western
tired.
Kentucky.
Hey, look at that. That's #1 sign to me a guy's tired. I mean, he is hunched over, hands on his knees. I'll be shocked if he makes 2 here.
Bassey.
Now look at him breathing.
He's 5 of 6 at the stripe tonight.
Oh, I love it.
He knocks in the front end, Tim.
I love it because you can tell he's got his hands on his hips. He is gassed right now, and Trice is making him work. That's great concentration, kids.
73% foul shooter. There are not many issues in any part of his game. He's number 4 in the country in blocks, number 3 in the country in rebounds, and he averages 18 a game.
Now, this is a Charles Bassey timeout. They even went over and said something to him, Rick Stansberry. He knows it. He goes, sit down right now, go catch your breath. That is tough to do. That's big time right there. When you're hunched over and you're tired, to lock in and get focused and make 2 free throws. We've talked about all night long how much this game means to Western Kentucky as they are squarely on that bubble. Our Jerry Palm has them in right now. You need your star to step up, Brent. Went to the line, banged down 2 key free throws.
He's 7 of 8 at the line tonight as a team. Western Kentucky 21 of 27. And they've got the 2-point lead with 2:56 on the clock. They play again tomorrow night here on Facebook Live. That one is at 5 p.m. Eastern. Senior night in Bowling Green, Kentucky, as Old Dominion faces Western Kentucky in the regular season finale.
One thing I would be aware of if I'm Jeff Jones is I would try to get Bassey out above the free throw line. Now, whether that's bringing Trice up high in the ball screen, you want to try to move Bassey from being that rim protector. We saw one possession in this game. He blocked multiple shots. He's so good defensively that even if you're going to use him as a decoy, you want to try to draw Bassey away from the rim. When you have a guy that's that dominant, blocks 3 shots a game, you really have to build your offense on moving the ball away from 23 and White.
Zikpe stretching things out over on the sideline for ODU. They've got the ball down 2. 14-6 for the Monarchs, 10-4 in the conference. Western Kentucky 17-5, 10-2 in conference. Green short on a 3. Rebound by Hollingsworth. They want to run 4-on-2. McKnight on the wing to the rim. A lot of contact as he went strong.
And again, you got to know time and score right there. Why not bring it out? Why not work the clock? Why not try and get, obviously, a higher percentage shot? You're going to the basket. You're a little bit out of control. It's a low percentage shot here. You don't have a chance to set your offense. Charles Bassey hadn't gotten the touch. Got to know time and score there in that situation. That's what Rick Stansberry is thinking right now.
Here's Malik Curry. He leads ODU with 19. Green back to Curry. To the rim. Hesitation. Banks it home. Big shot. Tied at 64. 21 for Curry.
Aside from Bassey, Curry's been the best player on the floor. Hasn't been close.
He's 9 of 16 from the field. 2:08 remaining. Hollingsworth going against Green. Bassey, Williams, underneath, triple team, stripped away, and a foul on Ezikpe. And if it is his, it's his 5th.
Big factor right there. That could open up more opportunities in the paint. Young man played a very, very tough game.
I thought that
is indeed 5 for Ezikpe, so he fouls out, Tim, here. 4 points and 7 rebounds for him tonight.
That was a really impressive catch by Carson Williams. There was nothing but dark ODU shirts around, and he was able to grab that ball. I'd have to see again if there was contact. I know there was a lot of bodies around, but watch the catch here. Yeah, that ball was kind of away from him. He's got 3 shirts around him, and then able to get to the free throw line. ODU doesn't like the call, but Williams maybe created some of that contact.
So Ezikpe fouls out with 4 points with 1:54 left. And John, you alluded to it, that could open things up more here for Bassey down the stretch.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Western Kentucky right now, you know, this is a situation where this 154 could define your season. Because if you're Western Kentucky, you're thinking about being an at-large team for the NCAA tournament. Williams just missed his first free throw the possession before. You had an out-of-control charge, and he misses 2 free throws. Looks like things are lining up for Old Dominion.
Big misses there, Tim. 64 all. Here's Curry. He's got 21. Bassey picks him up, but a foul on the drive.
1 away from the bonus right now. 5 team fouls go to 6 for Western Kentucky. Momentum has not been on Western Kentucky's side since halftime.
Yeah, and as a player, that's the stuff that I would notice. Good job pointing that out, John. Like, now I would get more aggressive driving in the hole. Put that pressure on the referee.
Green. Trice against Bassey. Good move, and Austin Trice able to score it.
Oh, what a big-time fake to get Bassey off balance, able to finish. You're up 2 on the road.
66-64 with 1:20 remaining. Jordan Rawls. Hollingsworth against Green. Shot clock at 7. Rawls deep 3. Short. Rebound.
Foul.
Curry.
The double mistake right there by Williams. You're going to put him on the line in the bonus right now. Old Dominion having a chance right here to extend the lead.
Now watch this fake here from Austin Trice. Right there. And then he got Bassey off balance. Outstanding job. He's pumped. ODU is pumped. Don't love the shot selection by Western Kentucky. And then, oh, that could have been ugly with Williams falling. Fortunate for Curry. He's going to be able to shoot these free throws. Big, big free throws for the senior from Delaware.
That possession was not one on that possession. It was one during off-season workouts, either with the team or by himself. Trice with an unbelievable footwork display and finish. Rick Stansbury looking at the clock. He knows if we don't turn this around in 107, we're going to have to get the Conference USA Tournament Championship. This team can't suffer another loss.
Yeah, and you don't need a 3, regardless if this goes in. All right, you're still down 2 possessions. Get a 2 here. Get something going north and south, or get Bassey a touch. Do not settle. You've only made 1 second-half three-pointer.
A minute to play here in Bowling Green. 68-64 game. Tough shot in the lane. Rims off for Hollingsworth. One and done. ODU the ball.
Got a foul now. Got a foul now.
68-64. Still no foul. And a takeaway. 2-on-1 to the rim. No. And a foul.
Oh, Curry is saying he's going up and down, north and south. But when you're going up against Josh Anderson, you're probably going up against the best athlete in Conference USA. Look at Anderson there. Almost a peanut poke. Fumble, and then, ooh, yeah. I mean, Curry did go up and down, didn't he, John?
Definitely did. Got the hang time right there by Anderson. That was like Brent in the Kansas State track days.
At the line, big free throws. Knocked in the first at Anderson. 3-point game, 37.3 to play in a timeout.
And then you got to think too. Got to think too, if you're Rick Stansberry, about what you're going to do on a make. Are you going to foul and extend the game, or are you going to be in a situation where you try to play it out and get the ball with 7 seconds left?
One-game lead, Western Kentucky. Sorry, Tim. 10-2, one-game lead on Old Dominion. That's what's at stake. But Tim, continuing that conversation.
Yeah, I would play it out here, regardless if the shot goes in or not. You play it out. This is an outstanding number with Josh Anderson. He shot 59% from the free throw line as a freshman. As a senior, he's shooting 90%. So you expect your senior to go to the free throw line, make this free throw here, and then it comes down to one stop. You get one stop. Timeouts to spare here, Stover?
Well, that's the situation. 68-65. 3-point game. First of 2 to close out the regular season between these two this weekend. Bassey 21 and 15. And he's tired, as Tim mentioned. Anderson, a second free throw, knocked down the first. This one to make it a 2-point game. So he gets 1 of 2. It's a 1-possession game still. ODU the ball, 34 seconds.
How many free throws has Western Kentucky missed in the last couple minutes? At least 3.
They are now 22 of 31. So they are just 1 for their last 4, to your point, John.
And what's the spread in the game right now? 3 points.
3-point game. So many times.
Well, we are setting up, obviously, for a rematch tomorrow. And if Old Dominion were to hang on, we are going to look at Conference USA as a 1-bid league. This is big right now for the bubble watch.
A lot of teams pulling for Old Dominion here. Western Kentucky cannot afford to take this loss. Curry calmly knocks in the first, and it's a 2-possession game with 27.7 on the clock here, Tim.
Yeah, and Jeff Jones is saying, get back on defense, and if you're Rick Stansberry, made free throw, you're going to need a 3.
Got them both.
Old Dominion makes their free throws. Western Kentucky misses their free throws.
11 of 15 for Old Dominion at the line tonight. Need points in a hurry. 22 seconds. Down 5. The Hilltoppers. Tough look inside up top for Bassey. And a quick timeout. 3-point game. 18.7.
And they got an ideal look quickly, obviously, with Bassey, but now they're going to need a defensive stop, maybe a steal. John pointed out the missed free throws, but this story has really been like the fortitude of Old Dominion. We talked to Jeff Jones at halftime. He thought his team was being lazy, basically playing defense with their hands. The defense has been outstanding in the second half. They gave up 41 first half points to Western Kentucky. First 12 minutes of the second half, only 10 in every key stop they've gotten in this game. And Jeff Jones, he needs like a little windshield wiper there, because I'm actually amazed at how clean his mask is. My mask would be a mess. Wouldn't yours, Brent?
Just like Andy Reid for the Chiefs during the NFL season. So 70-67, John, and you mentioned you cannot overstate the importance of this result here tonight in Conference USA.
Not just for Western Kentucky, but nationally. This is going to open up another spot in the NCAA tournament potentially.
ODU inbounds. Up 3. Able to get it into Green. Got a foul here. 15 seconds.
There you go.
There's the foul. ODU at the line with 15.2 and a 3-point edge. And it's Xavier Green. Or rather, it's going to be Oliver. A.J. Oliver at the line. Oliver at the line. And he's not shot a free throw here tonight. 90% for the year.
Well, what we talk about all game long, Western Kentucky needs to make enough threes to keep their opponent honest. In the first half, 4 made threes. In the second half, only 1. For a team that only makes 6 threes a game, you know what you're going to see. Guys are going to double Charles Bassey, and they're going to make others make shots. It's going to be their Achilles heel. It has been all year, and in this game, especially in the second half, it's come back to bite them.
And foul on Anderson, his 5th, so Josh Anderson fouls out. Big free throws coming up for Oliver. 90% for the season. First trip tonight at the line.
Oh boy.
Rebound Hollingsworth. Down 3. 10 seconds to play. They go for the 2 inside and rims it home. Big shot. Timeout. 9.1 and a 1-point game here, Tim.
What an outstanding, unbelievable finish by Hollingsworth. He does such a great job of kind of, bogarting the referees. But look like he got fouled. Well, watch him kind of look like he got hit a little bit, at least from the naked eye. He's still able to finish. And now we get a 1-point game, and huge missed free throws by A.J. Oliver. Went to the free throw line, 1-on-1 opportunity, missed the front end. And now if you're Rick Stansbury, maybe you got a second and a half to play good defense as we check out the last 4 in the first 4 out, Brent.
Yeah, a lot of bubble teams here, and this is the type of game where a bubble team, obviously, John, as you've alluded to, rooting for ODU. You got Michigan State, VCU, Drake, St. Louis on the right side of the bubble. And John, 3 of those teams will be on CBS Sports Network tomorrow. VCU is going to be in one of the semifinals, and then of course St. Louis will be in the other semifinal, and Drake in Missouri Valley will be in a semifinal game there. Quick foul with 8 seconds. Free throws coming up in a 1-point game.
This is March.
You can't beat it. 70-69. Green going to the line with his team up 1, 8 seconds. Either way, the Western Kentucky can have a shot here.
Well, if there's 2 made free throws, I know Western Kentucky is not a great 3-point shooting team, but you got to foul. You have to foul if there's 2 made free throws. Xavier Green's a senior. Here's a guy who's a sophomore, averaged 9.5 points. As a junior, averaged 13 points. This year, only 7 points.
Green rattles out on the first. 2 big misses in a row for ODU.
No timeouts for Western Kentucky, so you see Rick Stansbury saying push that pace. I would expect to see Hollingsworth with the ball regardless.
Second one for Green.
Big shot.
Got it. 71-69.
And I don't think they will go for the win here.
5 seconds to play. Western Kentucky down 2. Far away baseline. No. Rebound Monarchs with .1 on the clock.
And there you have it, guys. The Conference USA in 2021 will be a 1-bid league.
Yeah, I didn't love this shot selection here. I know that McKnight is their playmaker, but Tavion Hollingsworth's been doing it a long time. And if I'm Rick Stansbury, I want my seniors shooting the ball, not my freshmen.
McKnight, the fall away on the baseline, wouldn't go. The door was open. They went for the tie. Didn't get it. And now ODU is about to pull off a big one here tonight. And this will make tomorrow night's game for the East Division title, as they will be separated no longer. And that's it. 71-69. Western Kentucky falls. Their 8-game winning streak in the conference comes to an end. They are 10-3 now. And ODU is 11-4. So we've got a tie at the top. John, with these 2 teams set to rematch tomorrow here on Facebook Watch, once again at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it should be a tremendous, tremendous game, Brent. A tremendous game all around.
How about ODU pulling this off, Tim?
Second half, Jeff Jones' squad came out. They defended. They only gave up 10 points the first 12 minutes of the second half, and what an outstanding win for Old Dominion.
Malik Curry had 25 on 9 of 16. 3 of 3 from downtown, 4 of 4 at the stripe. Malik Curry, congratulations. Before we get to your individual effort, how huge is this for your team to come in here and beat Western Kentucky in the second to final game of the regular season?
First of all, this is the game that, any team would want to be in this situation. The game, it wasn't easy for sure. First half was rough, especially I had 2 fouls. They was making good shots, but, we stuck together. Coach got into us at halftime, so, we had to lock in and, stay focused on the game.
You really got into a rhythm there in the second half. Were you telling your teammates, just get me the ball and get out of my way?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. I was feeling good. The ball was going in the basket second half, and I just told the coach to, I need the ball right now.
Malik, what's it like to be able to get this win and know that you absolutely carried your team in the second half?
I would say it was a team effort, for sure. Everybody contributed, and everybody made big shots when big shots was needed. It was definitely a team effort.
What will it take to get the sweep tomorrow night and to win the East Division?
Man, that would be an amazing feeling on the away team's court. So, hopefully we get the win tomorrow.
Malik Curry, congratulations. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
25 for Curry in a win for Old Dominion here at Western Kentucky. 71-69. 25 and 4 for him. Bassey a double-double in the loss, 23 and 15. 12 for Hollingsworth, 12 for Rawls. In the end, Western Kentucky falls, and it's a tie at the top between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion in the East Division of CUSA. And they will be back in action tomorrow night, 5 Eastern on Facebook Watch. Tim Doyle, John Rothstein, and our entire crew, I'm Brent Stover. Check out our next CUSA game, Facebook Watch, tomorrow at 5 between these same 2 teams. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network on Facebook Watch.